Right, there he is. How are we, man? You had a good old week. What a weekend!
Oh,
my
what a
God.
weekend, Tommy. Look at us, huh? I'm still on it. I'm still buzzing from it. Ole, 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 ole.
I have to say, I enjoyed your social media post about the real flooding over in London. No, it wasn't due to the rain. It's England's tears.
Do you know what? I turned my bitterness into joy because I had to go down this way to find a bar where I was meant to meet people, and it was all flooded. So then, I didn't know the way, so I had to put it into Google Maps, and then I had to avoid the river. So I pivoted it to head that way, and it was like an extra something like 35 minutes, which it should have been 7 that way. And I had wet socks after standing in the puddles from the thing. So I was there. Don't vent, bring joy, have a bit of crack.
Yeah, how was it? Go on, tell us. What was Twickenham like?
It was amazing. To be fair, a bit like France, they've got the before match a little bit right, haven't they? They just it's proper and it's building towards kickoff. Now, it was a kind of early kickoff, so people weren't as giddy as you probably would, but everyone was there. Yeah. For it to be the battle. It was really teed up really well, and then it was just...
It was good that they're there at the start of it because they weren't there at the end of it.
They did head away
there were
quite sharp.
Like queues to get out, 10 minutes to go. Like, and I do want to quickly touch on that at some stage as well, because like some people are paying 200 sterling a ticket there, and to leave before full time.
Well, I always think of you in Twickenham when people are leaving early. Do you remember the Grand Slam game when we were winning well and you were after a few as well, so you were giddy and all the English were leaving. You were there, stop, go back. You're going to miss us getting our trophy.
That's whenever, you talk about us crying. We were there, poor Jamie Heaslip. Jamie just retired and Ireland win the Grand Slam and poor Jamie's devastated.
Jamie, I turned around to poor old Jamie Heaslip. I should be out there, Dunners, and I'm nearly hugging him. And there, you should, Jamie, man, you're unbelievable. Turn around, there's Bowe bawling his eyes out. I'm there. What's wrong with you, Tommy? I spilled my pint. I remember going to Jamie. I remember honestly going to him, Jamie, in time, man, it'll all be all right. Relax. Look at Bowe. Look at him, oblivious.
Look at the state of him. And there he was, pitch side. Lapping it up at the weekend too. So no, it was amazing. Yeah, well,
it was amazing. It was a great buzz. The Irish in there, I don't know what it was number wise, but you had to feel that there was kind of Irish on the ground that live in London or that get there, and they just made themselves so noisy. And then at one point, England tried to drown out the kind of fields of Athenry. I think on cue with him, with George Ford missing the kick to touch, and it just went. Honestly, the air went out of the balloon, man. It was like, and then we just got noisier and noisier. It was great. That photo of the lads, we were only chatting about it a while ago.
So I think Johnny Sexton's put up on his social media. If you haven't seen it, we're trying to work out when it was. Do you reckon it was when McCluskey tracked down Marcus Smith into the corner?
No, I think it must have been probably earlier than that. Is it Osborne's try? I wonder.
Maybe. It's just, you just see like, so Paul O'Connell, that big red, all the coaches, Johnny, Faz, David Humphreys, big red face on him as well. All just like
giving it Carmody, man, beside him, just
And then the funny thing, of course, is in the background is you have the Princess of Wales, Catherine Kate, sitting beside some random English player.
Finn Baxter, man, he's injured. He's a great player.
With just this kind of face of just disgust and disbelief. I mean, it's a brilliant, brilliant picture, isn't it?
Yeah. They're the moments that keep you in it, aren't they? And it kind of bangs home what it's all about, isn't it? That kind of national identity, you know what I mean? To kind of put one over there and just get that bit of a buzz out of it. I know, speaking to Johnny there, though, I noticed Andy said it as well. Oh, you know what I mean? It's all on the players today. I think, man, they need to take a massive bow. If you look at Dan Sheehan's try, Osborne's try, and even, do you know what? I forgot, Tommy, going to the match is so important to see stuff you don't see on the TV. They basically exploited George Ford in the backfield all day. Basically, they were like, if you're going to keep him back there to kick long, we're going to hit contestables all the time. And then you saw stuff like Pollock keeping width. you know what I mean, that you wouldn't see on TV, and you're like, why is he keeping width, not connected?
Wasted, yeah.
Wasted. Like, genuinely, if you're going to do that with him, start him on the wing, man. You know, it's just...
Well, it's the style of play that they play, and like it's a tactic that have worked for England, is keeping a back row, especially as explosive as Pollock, but they just couldn't get the ball to him. It just didn't work.
But not only that, but then they lost him at the breakdown, which seemed to be the biggest area that they needed him in. You know, like Tyke Byrne, man, had a field day at the breakdown.
Right, we'll get to the match, right? Just in terms of like I just want to get a sense of what it was like over there, like in terms of the atmosphere after the game. Like, was there, like, from the English? Were you talking to England fans, because they must, like, I mean, they were in a 12-game winning streak, and all of a sudden they had 2 weeks from absolute hell.
You genuinely got the feeling that the English were kind of shell-shocked by it and didn't even know how to kind of, work it out yet. Like,
you were with Matt Dawson, weren't you?
I was with Matt Dawson,
so like, and we know how cocky he can be.
No,
so this time around, when it's not going well, from what was the reaction?
Yeah, I think, like he said, he was probably looking for a bit of ownership on some parts of it. He can't believe the lack of kind of sticking to the game plan. You know what I mean? Big players kind of stepping up in those moments. So he was interesting to hear, but he was genuinely down. You could see how it hurt him. You know what I mean? And I know there's a clip of us doing it where I'm actually celebrating. I think it could have been that Osborne try as well. And I'm embarrassed that I did it, because look, we're never going to be impartial, but you know the way you just can't control emotions at some point.
That's why you're there. You're the Irish voice.
Well, he was the English voice, man, and he honestly looks like he's going to puke.
And everyone who was English who was watching that, like, Ireland turned up to England's patch and played like they're at home. Like, it was the ultimate insult for England.
Yeah, and the thing is, an awful lot of people are kind of saying, and they're going back to those forward missed touches, right? But it genuinely, Tommy, I know, and this is going to sound a little bit arrogant, but I don't think they would have. Of course, it would have curtailed the start, but like Gibson Park scored under the post on a contestable that we've seen roll. There's probably a few points out there off the tee that we could have had. It could have been bigger, like, no, it would have been.
But to be fair to England, like, they spent a lot of time in R22 and didn't capitalise on it. I'd say that's where they're really gutted. There were a couple opportunities where they had Ireland on the ropes, and some mega turnovers from Ireland are really bad, simple mistakes for England under pressure. And like, those small things just really compound you. And I particularly, I think, of, the going behind so much against Scotland the weekend before, then Ford, your kind of talismanic leader who's over 100 caps for his country, misses touch. Like, he was missing touch now, and that's inexcusable, but he missed touch a couple of times. The crowd were booing him. Like that, I mean, when you talk about rugby and the respect and all for everything that he's done, like the crowd to be booed, like, this just showed how and if you're paying that sort of money for an England ticket and the England team don't turn up, man, you could see how pissed off they were.
They weren't booing him. They gave a sarcastic jeer when the ball went into touch finally. You know what I mean? So when he did bang it in. And I'll be honest, as a forward, for the first one, I don't fault him. I know what he's trying to do there. He's trying to get every meter out of the ball.
Of course.
Honestly, I'd go straight over to him. But the second one, you just can't do that. After the first, you just got to get us in the game. You got to find a way. And I wonder with the English game plan, because again, I'm going back to being able to see it live. It's inefficient running and inefficient work for their front five that I'd say is probably driving them nuts. Yeah. They're basically doing shuttles. And I looked at so many of them. They look so leggy. They look so... There's no reward in it for that kind of tight five. And now teams have got smart and pushed you down the pitch. England got a turnover scrum penalty and they were celebrating it, but it was 5 meters out from the line. You could see the Irish going back saying, you know what I mean, best of luck with the 95 meters you have to make up, So I do think that's a concern for them. I think this game plan isn't, one, leading to the best of their abilities, but also it's not efficient in terms of working energy. I couldn't believe that likes of Curry, Pollock. Anytime there was a break in play, you looked at the English lads and they were down on their haunches. They were wrecked. You know what I mean? You were like, whoa. Yeah. And you know that from playing. If you're there like, let's make the air tin here and let's burn them.
Yeah. And Ireland just seemed to grow. Like, you know, McCluskey 70 minutes in and does that track down of... yeah. Right, before we go to him, I want to talk Farrell first of all, right? Because... like, and you said it a minute ago, the coaches, the coaches
Take
are trying
a bow, man.
Are trying to put this on the players, and absolutely the players on the pitch. But when you think of what the words that Farrell used after that France match and questioned the intent, and I was thinking, I wonder, was he like caught in the emotion there? Like, did he kind of come in the Monday morning almost apologetic? Oh, do you know, I probably went a bit too hard there. Sorry, lads.
Simon needs to redo media from now on in.
But because to question an Irish team on their intent is so damning, and that's what he said. I thought it's something I'd never question of an Irish team. Somebody putting their Ireland jersey on, will are they willing to work hard enough for it? And I just thought that the emotional buy-in, maybe not last weekend, like it certainly wasn't perfect last weekend, but 5 changes to rest the likes of Gibson Park, Tadhg and stuff on the bench as well, Josh van der Flier. But you mentioned that Josh van der Flier, for instance, I wonder what Farrell said to him during the week.
Yeah.
Kind of like, Tom Curry, I picked him ahead of you in that Lions tour. Go out there and show me why I got it wrong. Tadhg, another one, like he must have been just needling at them the whole time. And I was looking in the press conference, they asked him about his reaction when Stu McCluskey made that tackle. And he said, what I love about that is that Stu didn't track back on the Tuesday, and we pulled him up on it. And then he chased back for something else in training on the Wednesday. And he just said, like, if you practice these things, they'll happen again. And I just think that, like, so obviously something happened in training, whenever you get pulled up like that, and particularly in the big screen in front of people, it hits you hard.
Yeah.
And you could just see whenever Marcus Smith made that break, like, it's not like he questioned it even for a split second. He was just gone after him.
Gone for it. And I think that's what this shows, and we can relate it to England in ways, but just from an Irish point of view at the moment, they're incredibly coachable. Like, from what went on in France to the advancements they've made, it actually worries me a little bit, Tommy, that they have to get into Irish camp to get up to speed.
Yeah.
I do think provincially we're off it a bit, so he's getting them, you know what I mean? And it's like, 2 flights of the stairs to get him up before he can even start getting coaching message across to him. We do need to improve, all of our provinces need to improve maybe coaching structure or message of, because these players can take it on, man. You're right there. Go on.
One thing on that, though, I do want to say is that everyone's talking about Stu McCluskey, for instance, or
Balakoon's one in the corner. Oh, Balakoon in the corner.
Totally, right? But everyone's, particularly McCluskey, they're like, oh, this guy, like O'Driscoll, talk about, he's older now and he's able to see these things through. Like, McCluskey's been playing this sort of rugby for Ulster for the last couple of years, and it's just he hasn't been given an opportunity. I sometimes think, like, just because he's put on the green jersey and put together a couple of good performances, it's like Andy Farrell and Johnny Sexton, have been able to find this in him. Like, I just think that there's a lot of players out there playing for Munster, playing for Ulster, playing for Connacht, who would murder for an opportunity, a couple of games in the Ireland jersey to show exactly how good they are. And all of a sudden, when you give these guys a chance and put your experience behind them and put them into a team that is going the right direction, they can show this sort of performance, as opposed to sometimes whenever they do get brought in, they get brought in for a one-off game. There's 5 or 6 changes being made. The whole thing's a bit disjointed. So sorry, from that side of things, like, certainly I don't know whether the provinces are quite up to the speed at the international level. It never is. Listen, like,
no, it's not. But I'm just on about coachability. Like, there you go. Stu was shown, so Stu changes. This is what I think England had. England were ahead of everyone in this kick contest, and then it's evolved again to the kind of the craziness, and they stood still, and everyone's burning them. So this is my kind of point about the provinces. I worry, are we standing still there, and Team Ireland, when they come up in green, Farrell can coach those lads, man. You know what I mean? Like Johnny said it, it's all on the players. It's not, man. We know it there. That was a coaching masterclass. They outfoxed Borthwick. You know what I mean? And
I also think it was a mindset.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree with that. But then again, that's the measure of him too, isn't it? That he can get that across.
Like I just read an article there: passion, energy, and aggression. Like you can have all the tactics you want out the window, like, you know, but if you can't match on the energy and aggression, I just think that Ireland just completely dominated them. And that exact question is about intent, who wants it more?
Agreed, but watch back Dan Sheehan's try. There's so much detail to it. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Like at one point I was looking at England, and I remember the worst thing you can ever hear on a pitch is leave them have it. In other words, they're shit. They'll run up their own ass. You know what I mean? Just leave them have the ball. And I was thinking that when I saw England, I was there like, they're not going to stress us if we just leave them play this out, and they will create their own errors. And I do think you watch the Osborne try, that I think they pull people up, like you were saying there. I think that's actually, I didn't know that, but that's a good example of showing McCluskey there and then getting the change of it. Like there was loads of moments. Balakoon in the corner, even though there was one moment, man, you should. I think it's been picked up a little bit on kind of social media's one, where Jack Crowley is giving it to Jeremy Loughman, and it doesn't stop for a while. Like the two of them keep going at it.
Right?
He wanted him in the line, but that kind of self-policing side of it, I was there like. But they were all like church mice in France. You know what I mean? But that's leadership, isn't it? That's your coach saying, "There you go." And
listen, and it's easy when things are going well for you. There are church mice in that English team, I'm sure, there as well. But tell me, like, what did, like, we said this before, Gibson Park, and we talked about it last week about how Johnny's saying, you know, we're not going to make the mistake. We're blooding through a couple of tens here. I mean, really, Gibson Park is just so hands and shoulders above everybody else, really, and particularly at 9. God, he was so good.
Put him in a box and only open for green is what I say. He's just too important now, isn't he? He's just incredible.
Do you worry though, right? And like, listen, it was a masterclass, wonderful performance, but Farrell put out his most experienced lieutenants there, knowing that they needed a big game. And then in the papers today, he's talking about, don't judge me on this, judge me in 18 months.
Yeah.
And should we be a little bit concerned that, yes, okay, we're back brilliant again, we've got a brilliant team, and we've got all of a sudden, but we're relying on our over 30s, like Gibson Park, 33, Tyburn, 34.
Don't get blinkered. That's all the outside noise, man. That's everyone. I'm telling you, Tommy, because they can produce them, and they showed it. You know what I mean? And we don't have what they have. We don't have loads of players coming through. So I actually think, like, there's nearly a job on kind of Irish media to kind of go, do you know what? We know that's the English noise and the Scottish noise, but we're not buying it. If we get there with an Asian team, fair enough. But we know they can produce. We know guys.
But back to back. Listen, well, I have to question. Like, I have to worry. I have to wonder. You know, I just thought, like, you looked at that team. That was as strong a team as we could pick. We said this, and like the two of us, we kind of said, "Listen, I feel we can feel a win here." Because they had the team, they had the players who have enough star quality who've been there and done it.
Yeah, but then throw a few more in at it. Yeah, genuinely. Yeah. And he's blooded well. And guys come back from injury, and you know they're going to be watching it. You know what, Tommy? You're out of the team. If you're Porter there and you go Keenan, and you see it motoring, and everyone's chanting about the new guys coming in, you're there like, hold on, I want a bit of this. I'm going to show it.
As you said, like, they've got Izuchukwu's come on. The Dogbo's come on, you know, like, they've given these guys a little taster of it, and they will get more opportunities over the next couple of weeks, I'd imagine.
I do think, though, the Irish demise isn't being reflected now in people throwing bouquets. They should genuinely be warmer to that team. I think they deserve it. They deserve to kind of go, listen, we were all saying you were done, you were over the hill. We got that back.
It's one win, like.
No, man, it's not one win, Tommy. We've beaten them in Twickenham. Out of the last 6 times, we've beaten them 5. There's a disrespect towards Irish rugby that needs to change.
Well,
it genuinely does.
I would say
like
English
the big
rugby
narrative.
is...
You listen to every other podcast. All they're going to do is chat about England, man. No one's kind of going to go. And that wouldn't happen for New Zealand or South Africa. I'm sick of us being chicken bait for all these muppets.
I don't agree. I actually think this time everyone's gone tip of the hat. Ireland, you are exceptional.
No, they haven't. They've looked at the demise and they've kind of gone. All they've said is, do you know what? We're going to go a little bit quiet now. And if Scotland or Wales bring it, we're going to get back into Gibson Park. But all those lads know it now. They're not worried, thankfully. But I hope that filters out to the Irish rugby public. Don't worry about the noise. Like, you know what I mean? Or them saying we're aging. We should just absolutely, like, honestly, man, I'm still buzzing about how proud I was of that team. And if
everyone is.
I'm not saying you question that, but my point is we will make it with an aging squad. But if we make it with an aging squad, what about it, man? They'll be good enough. And under Farrell, man, they can do everything, man. He's so good.
You've got totally loved it. You've got the Kool-Aid.
I absolutely do.
Did you get to watch the other matches, or were you kind of in corporate mode?
No, I watched them this morning. I had a look over and just because you'd be interested. I had a few odd takeaways that you'll get a giggle out of. How nice is that Italian warm-up jacket? Did you see them all for the anthems? It's like it's like a college kind of.
Is that did the French? They had like a daffodil on, like a pin on theirs.
They had a white one, yeah. But the Italians had this kind of like red-sleeved white kind of leather. You know what I mean? Like you'd see the Fonz wearing or something.
Nice.
Yeah. Banging gear.
Italy, I thought, to be fair, gave France a game.
Oh,
like France, whenever they broke away, Jesus, they're just so exciting, electric with speed. But on the whole, it took a couple of Italian mistakes to give them those opportunities.
But sorry, two things there, right? Like Italy are the barometer, aren't they? I think we all know how we're faring against Italy for the rest of the championship. They should have probably beaten us or drawn, to be completely honest.
Yeah, should have, yeah.
And then their match against France shows how much they're away from France or away from everyone else. Is this a terrible thing to say? And I know everyone will say you make your luck and all that. France are jammy the way the ball was bouncing from at the moment, man.
If
it can go right, it will go right from. I feel a fly hack something and it will land in Bielbarri's arms or something. It's wild.
Big time. No, there is a couple of those. Now, whenever they get those opportunities, they capitalize on it. Like, yeah, exactly. It was a Bielbarri, he kicked it, but like it sliced off into the 13's hands and he made the break. Like it was... But it's scintillating to watch. Like they are
it's great. But
exciting.
Their jamminess is merited because of how they want to play. It's like the rugby gods are going, do you know what? He'd normally not get away with that fly hack, but I'm going to leave this one slide because it's class.
There's going to be a couple of great games now. Scotland up against France. You know, Scotland are going to be at home against that one. And then Italy against England. I mean, gee, imagine that. Like, the pressure is on there. And Ireland against Wales, you never know.
Ireland, Wales, yeah. Oh, what about Wales? Yeah, we'll go into. But you're right. There's going to be unbelievable matches. Probably should call a few of them. But yeah, I suppose that's the beauty of the Six Nations. The one thing I do question though, and I know you're not a fan of it, but I was just looking at how leggy everyone looked around the place 3 weeks in a row, and I know everyone will say if you're trying to grow the game, you know what I mean? You need to be able to go back to back to back, and that's what World Cups are and all that. But our game is physical like no other, and I worry that we're flogging the stars. We're flogging the stars. Like
got their fallow week now.
I know that, but I just like even refs were getting injured in the match, Tommy. You know what I mean? 3 weeks in a row, the ref had to go off, and they're like, I'm not a fan. I think for the international stage, it is a massive ask to do what these lads are doing, and how attritional the game's gone. I just think, look, I'm just a fan of the old format. I just worry that we get to that third week always and players are a little bit more empty. Like it was honestly.
I don't think Ireland could be said that they're empty.
No, they timed it right. But if you looked at
Scotland, the way they came back, amazing.
Yeah. But there was parts of the pitch on Saturday, honestly, it was like a scene out of Saving Private Ryan. There was medics running everywhere. And maybe we got away from it this week. But I have to ask you, what did you make of Borthwick bringing back on, who came, he got sin binned,
the 15.
Yes. Stewart. Got sin binned.
Freddie Stewart,
brought him on for a minute and then Shepherd's hooked him just before half time. So put him back on for 2 minutes. I was wondering, was it an error? And then people are kind of saying that he wanted to give the squad a kick up the ass.
I think Colin Dickey, he got taken off before half time as well.
He got taken off early too, yeah.
But he needed to do something. I mean, you said it could have been more. It definitely could. He needed to get something. And I know to be pulling off your 15, but maybe it was a bit of a message to, this isn't good. I'd love to have known what he said at halftime. But then they come back out and they give away another penalty. He got no reaction from them.
No, he got no reaction. My feeling on it, Tommy, is there isn't player buy-in from the game plan. I kind of feel it's been implemented to them as opposed to ownership of, which is totally different, isn't it? When you own it, like Gibson Park there, I used him as the perfect example. He knows what they want him to do. But then if there's not a pillar set or if there's not someone around, boom, he's gone, man. You know what I mean?
But that's himself. That's him. That's exactly what Craig Casey didn't have last weekend.
I know that.
Because Casey tried to stick to the pattern.
But what's Farrell's great line? You know what I mean? We want the best of you, isn't it? And that's what Gibson Park is bringing. And then we all get a result of it. I'd say Casey's looking at it going, next time I get my thing, I'm not going to be so pained by numbers.
Well, I hope not. His strength is in himself. That's another thing that I just read a quote of Farrell after the match talking about how just clear your head, go out there, don't get caught into the emotion of it. Don't get caught into what the English or what the crowd are being telling you. It was amazing. Whatever way he's able to get these boys to step up in big games like that was top class.
He's vital, man. He is vital. There's another few things. Can I just give you a quick little takeaway? The size of that trophy for the France versus Italy match. When they went to hand it over, DuPont is even this is a dead weight. And another thing,
the RC trophy.
Yeah. And look, I don't want to open the can of worms, but Andy Farrell has been brilliant in speaking out about different things that have gone on and keyboard warriors and stuff like that. I don't think that limits the blue media from actually saying how well Jack Crowley did at the weekend. McCluskey was brilliant. Doris was brilliant. Jack Crowley was awesome. And I know the Blue Pens hate writing it, but you have to say how good this guy is at 10.
Save it for Friday. Save it for Friday. Go on.
Come on. Write it in your blue tears.
I have to go collect the little man. Listen, enjoy yourself.
Ole, 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 ole. I'm
Thanks
buzzing.
Everybody for tuning over to the dressing room. We'll chat to you on Friday and a couple of big weeks ahead. Boy, I'm excited.
Yes, here we go. Triple Crown is on, Tommy. Here we go.
And if you haven't got your tickets, go get them to come and see us in Cork or Limerick. We'd love to see you there big time.
We would love to see you. If we are in Limerick on the 4th of March and we're in Cork on Friday the 13th. Simon Zebo, Jimmy Barry Murphy, the Frankham Walters and Tommy going bananas.
Ole, ole.
Ole, ole, ole.
See you, man. Good luck.